Hello, Red Scare Pod. I just recorded about 7 minutes of video before I realized I had some doxable information just flashing right on the screen. So I'm starting over again. Uh, I'm not bitter about it. Clearly, you can tell by the tone of my voice, it's totally fine. What I'm doing today is I'm going to look at Dasha Nekrasova's chess.com account. I'm going to talk about her game. If you want to learn something about it, please don't be mean to her. She's just starting out in chess and she's trying to, you know, pick up the game. I would love to have her as a student. If you want to DM me, you have my information. It'll be on this post. But please don't be like an asshole. Because I'm sure most of you are not that good at chess yourselves. So we're going to go through. I picked 4 games. I don't know if we're going to go through all of them. I don't want to make this video any longer than it needs to be, but we're going to go over some basic chess principles, and this is a good excuse for me because I've been trying to put together a little bit of a YouTube thing, and this is a good excuse for me to get off my ass and actually record a video. So you guys, hopefully you all enjoy this. So let's start here, and we got to flip the board a little bit because Dasha is playing as black this game. And the first move, e4. Starting an open game here. I don't want to get too into the differences between d4 and e4, but typically one of the main things to consider, it's open, it's considered open because this bishop can come here and attack f7, which is like considered the big target square. In the same way, right, black can attack the f2 square, which is, white big target square. Let checkmates happen on this square. So e4 games are a little more open. If you play something like d4, which it won't let me do because chess.com is being a little glitchy today. But if you play something like d4, right, you'll notice that if I play d5, that game's closed. This bishop is never going to come here. There's going to be a pawn in the way. So it's never going to work. So let's look at this one here, e4. She plays e5, perfectly suitable move. And now I want to talk about something quickly. The difference between occupation and control. These are... they're more or less, occupation is in control differentiator is kind of something I made up, I think. Control is something in chess, but I think sometimes it's really easy to say, oh, hey, this pawn controls e5. It doesn't, right? It occupies e5. It controls f4 and d4. And that difference is very important to keep in mind, right? Like, you control what you're pointing at. You don't control where you are. So, quickly, the 3 goals to open up a chess game, and if you any of you become my students, you will have these memorized to the point that you've already forgotten them. Are this: you want to control the center, right? And control, right, we mean point at. So you want to have pieces pointing at this. Like a knight points at center from f6. A bishop could point at the center from c5. You want to point at the center with your pieces. You want to get your pieces, specifically your bishops and knights, off their asses and into the game, right? We want to be in the game, on the board. Let's get in there. And the third thing is we want a castle, right? We want to be safe. We want to have our king, tucked away so we can go about attacking our opponent. So those are your 3 principles. Anything that does not advance those aims, you can probably bet you're not, maybe you are. Maybe you're great. And if you're great, you have no reason to watch this video unless you're trying to, unless you're curious about Dasha's chess. But outside of you very good players out there, and I'm talking like the 2,000 plus guys, so not you, just who I'm talking to, let's be honest. You're not inventing new theory. And honestly, you're probably not inventing new theory at 2,000. It's probably closer to like 2,400 where you're doing that. You play a move like b5, right, or something like that. It's like if you went like 1 b5. All right, not only does this lose the pawn, but it, heuristically, you're breaking the rules. You're not following one of those 3 rules. For beginner players, this is enough. You don't have to. You're not going to invent the wheel. So e5 played, and now d3. And d3 is it's a bit of a tepid move. I think white is White gets an advantage out of the gate here, right? You can generate a big attack as white because you have an extra move. You moved first. And he's saying, "Oh, I'm playing defensively." He's kind of misunderstanding, or she. I don't know who this Georgian person is, right? Georgia, yeah. So I don't know, but this is it's just you're kind of ignoring what your goal is as white, which is to attack, right? You're the attacker, black is the defender until white makes a mistake. White has already made a mistake, which is kind of nice for us. Now Dasha plays c6, and I will note she plays d5 afterwards, so it's not like she's this is not like a brain dead move. This is fine. I think the problem is she's misreading the situation, and I actually looked through a couple of her games before this, and she seems to play this move a lot. And you can't play on autopilot, especially when they do something like this. And one thing you can ask yourself, right? Like, so maybe there's an opening where she plays c6. Maybe she plays e4, e5, and there's something that they do, and c6 is the move. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Maybe there's one like that. What you always should do every single time you play a chess game is you should assess the moment you are no longer in a memorized position. Because a lot of opening is memorization, but you have to be honest with yourself and say, hey, I haven't seen that before. It's time to turn my brain on. And this kind of move is very, very weak. I'm pushing d5 here. I mean, yeah, it's fine, but at the end of the day, you're going to trade d-pawns, or d-pawn for the e-pawn. He's going to take here, and it's all going to be fine. That's not so good. Okay, horrible move, just terrible. For beginners out there, don't move your f-pawn. For people who are a little bit more advanced, if you pull together like a Yugoslav attack, or I think certain lines, certain Botvinnik English lines, you play f3. You almost never play it as black, and in fact, if we flip this board for a second, if you're to play, let's say knight f3, f6 here, you're already dead, because I can take here, and when you take back, boom, check, and if you block your pawn, boom, check, and look at that, I'm grabbing your rook. You can't move the f pawn so early. You need to really, weigh carefully whether or not that's going to mess you up here. And the problem is, well, we've got open diagonals. And so this is where you're going. Sorry, I should probably say these are the two squares you're going to, but the diagonals that open are here, and they both cross through this crucial f2, I guess it would be f7. The other way, but this f2 square. And it's just a little bit, this is a bit dicey. Now, I don't know exactly how you would capitalize on this right this second. I don't think there are any tactics. I mean, you could play queen h4, force him to play g3, but I don't think that does anything. So there isn't anything here right this second, but like bishop c5, this is like a developing move, just cutting through nicely the entirety of White's camp. This is already pretty devastating. Now Dasha goes at her plan, so I can't blame her. She set it up. It's really hard, like psychologically, to just throw your plan out the window every turn because something different happens. So I get this. This is a fine move, especially because he's done this. Like, this is terrible. And he takes. Okay, he shouldn't take here. This is a big mistake from White, because now Dasha's got two center pawns to his one center pawn. And center pawns generally worth a little bit more than wing pawns. Wing pawns being any of these guys. These three. I'm doing this on a trackpad, so it's a little bit tougher for me to click the things down. All right, c3 played. I don't know what that move is. And if you'll notice, right, Dasha's done really well here, and she's like minuscule mistakes, but they're not worth going into. What she's done really well is she's played for the center. She has been following the rules. She's controlled the center. Everything is hunky-dory here. Feeling really good. Knight c6, great. Another really principled move. We're just controlling the center. We're getting out a piece. Now, I think what we really should be focusing on is getting these ones out so we can get castled. Because once we're castled, we're ready to go. We're ready to start attacking. And his position, he's just ignoring all of the things he should do. He plays d4 here. I don't know what this move is. It's just not good. This is bad. This is bad. He's not really doing much of anything here. The problem Dasha may have, right, is if he plays something like knight f6, he takes and she takes, right? Long term, this pawn could be weak, but I think that the issues of him just not only developing weirdly, but blocking his knights from getting into the game, this is horrible. She should have a really pleasant game here. She plays f6, which is that move we don't like, right? Now, luckily for her, there are no open bishop lines, and there is no way the queen's going to get to h5, so it's not like the worst move in the world, but it's just not as easy of a way to play. Takes, and she wants to keep the center. I can't say I hate that. And here, well, all right, there's definitely got to be some sort of technical something here. Let's take a look around. Now, if I'm her, I might just go bishop c5 and not even look for anything. Because, frankly, I have whole center. I got a whole line of his position. He's not doing anything with any of his pieces. Let's say he does this because this is, I guess, trying to fianchetto bishop. By the way, this is called fianchettoing. But just knight f6, and you don't really have to even play particularly hard here. Do any move. I don't know. It's just something like this, and you just castle. And I mean, look at your center. All of your pieces are out. They're all happy. They're all pointing really good directions. And this looks really pleasant. Now, this is a big mistake from Dasha, I think. I don't know that there's any real point. Like, if you just stay here, you're happy, right? You control two pieces of the center. If I push the pawn, now it's just a little bit weaker. Like, it's just, okay, you bishop b4, sure. But now, there's a good thing about chess. And people always wonder how they're supposed to trade. Well, when you're up material, and that means pieces, right? And you have more pieces, let me say you took his knights or something, and he hadn't taken any of yours. Well, what you want to do is you want to trade down because it's just a math problem, right? If you have the extra piece, the less pieces are on the board, the better that piece is going to be. But when you have a positional lead like Dasha has here, right? You don't want to trade down. Trading down is it lets white off the hook. He should have to answer for these terrible moves. Right? They're crimes against chess, and they should be punished. Essentially, d4 just sort of, yeah, you're just kind of letting off the hook. And I like, right? This is the move. This is the beginner's great love, right? Pointless check. I want to get a check in because I can do that, but it doesn't actually, benefit you anyway. And after he blocks, it's like, well, what are you gonna do? I mean, you could trade further, and this is probably okay for you, but it lets him off the hook. The alternative is what, though? I guess you can stay here. She played bishop f5, which looks possibly okay, but he just has these options of just getting traded. a3, a3 a little bit horrible actually, so we're gonna go back to that in a second. But here, I don't know, maybe something like, I guess you might have to play at a3 here. Is this the only move you can play? Yeah, that's about right. I don't know what else. How else can I protect this square? Am I blind? No, you gotta. Oh, you know what? You have check here. Okay, so check here is, I think, probably the best move, and then you have to move back to block. Because otherwise, if you don't block, say you block with your queen, I'm going to take your knight. So you have to move your knight back and block. Okay. So that's probably the best move. But a3, this is a horrible move. And if you're watching, hit the pause button for a second, see if you can find what black should play here. Dasha did not play it, so Dasha, feel free to, if you're watching, do that as well. All right, that's enough time. If you were going to pause, you would already. So move here is actually knight to d2, and beautiful fork. Look at this. You get both pieces. You're checking him. You're defended by the bishop, so the queen's not going to take. So you move here, and zoink. Look at you go. You're up a full rook, and you should have a very, very pleasant rest of the game here. Queen d4. sort of missing the point here. I think now, maybe bishop here looks good actually. Maybe bishop b5 is good. Is queen better? No, queen's not better. That abandons the king. Bishop b5 looks good. Apparently there's a better move. I'm gonna cheat. I lied. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, that's embarrassing. This is a recorded. I can't. I'm 15 minutes in. I can't stop now. But the fact that I just missed taking the knight, that's hilarious. Ugh. Listen, guys, it's been a long hard week. So here, yeah, your goose is kind of cooked, but her opponent takes the queen. She then takes the queen like this and ends up putting herself in a position. Now the king moves. Okay, the king moves for whatever reason, but totally should have lost the knight, right? But she actually has a really clever move here. Again, you can pause if you want. All right, that was a couple seconds. The knight can actually hop in here, and the fork is now not only hitting this rook, but I'm also hitting the knight. So I can check, king moves, boom, I'm back. And apparently there was something wrong with that, but whatever. Yeah, something like this, and you're totally set. Okay. He moves the king. Dasha sees knight d5. Cool. g4. g4. Okay, and bishop comes back to e6. I think this bishop kind of happy on this diagonal. I think maybe bishop to g6 is stronger, keeping this in here. You also probably could check here. And just wait a move and see, I can take this bishop. If you go like this or something, now I probably just go bishop g6, and this looks good. You should be happy here too. This king is out of place. You just need to get your pieces out and get castled, though. Right? We're just kind of a reckless little game here, and we went this way. The problem with this is like it's a house with no roof, so if it rains, it's not going to be so good. Sure, this is fine. I think. Oh no, okay. There's another tactic here. Give yourself a second if you want to find it. Feel free to pause, but you do have knight check here, and I will grab this bishop wherever the king moves. So something like this. All right, knight to f6. She just misses it though. She still has it. Okay. This is like, okay, she's missing the tactics, and that comes with some. That's gonna take some time. You're gonna have to build that up. I often say tactics is kind of like the chess weight room, and I think that like it's something you got to just kind of keep pushing at. It's not the actual game. It's it's the squat rack, it's the bench press, it's the stuff you need in order to play better. Here, right, she is actually doing everything pretty well. She's lining up her rooks in the center on big open files. She's got decent center control here. I know she's down a pawn, but his pieces are, they're barely playing. And something you can consider is if this rook is blocked into the corner, it might as well not be on the board. It's not doing anything. Knight takes e6, makes sense, sure. All right, and now just some really, really powerful moves, but she's got to find them. And one of those moves is something like, this is tough. There's actually a lot of good moves here. I don't want to necessarily just take the rook because I don't see anything that benefits me after that. Knight here is a double check. That's got to be good for something. So maybe like something like this, and king can't move there. King goes here, and that's not so good. Let's see. Maybe knight check here is better. Yeah, maybe this is best because then you check here and the king moves, and when it moves, you get the rook. There you go. There's the move. So you check here, he comes up, and you get the rook. So you just should be here with like open lines, and this is just some advice for anybody who's playing chess. With open lines, the king and all your pieces out in the middle like this, you should be looking for a kill shot, especially after a move like this that doesn't really do anything. You have, wherever this knight moves, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 checks, just moving the knight to consider. Then you have takes, which is also checks. So you have 8 checks here to consider. His king is wide open. Should be pretty easy to find something if you just take your time here. And the thing I'll say is Dasha spent 9 seconds on that move, and that's the criticism I'm going to give her generally. She's playing way too fast. She's playing games that are too fast for improvement. You got to play, if you're online, 30 minutes or longer aside. Like, you really got to sit down and put the effort in. I know there's a lot of Blitz people here in the subreddit, but I'm not a big advocate for Blitz. I don't think it helps you. I also think it's very video gamey, and it's chess. It's not fucking League of Legends. So I don't know. I'm bad at clicking the mouse really fast, so I lose a lot of those games on time, and it always makes me mad. So maybe I'm just like, being spiteful. But yeah, I don't I don't really care much for online Blitz. All right, b3, sure. And again, she has some discovery ideas with this check here, something like this, or maybe even here. This wins a pawn at least, right? Definitely has some options here. All right, but rook b6 kind of misses the point. Knight d2, okay, and now she goes for the check, which to me is strange, right? You should always look. Rooks, they say, have X-ray vision. They see through things. You should always be thinking to check here, not after he's put a blocker up. It's almost like you missed your shot there. All right, knight b5, sure. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think probably bring the king to b1 or b8 here is probably stronger. Apparently there's is that? Oh, wow. That's really nice. I'll give you guys a second. Give you guys 2 seconds here to find the tactic. All right. It's rook takes, and when the rook takes back, what do we got at the end of that? We got a big fork. We're going to take that right there. So this is that shot. Again, like, I think her tactical awareness, which is something, we would work on for sure as well. I would give her plenty of practice things to improve that, and anybody who wants to take lessons, I'd give you plenty of resources from which to study and pick up these tactical motifs. Yeah, okay, here's where we're going crazy. Let's chill. I mean, not only did she give up the fork and is going to lose the rook here, but outside of even calculating, this is a psychopathic. This is a shit, my friends just called, they want to go out and get drunk, I gotta stop playing this game kind of move. It's not very much it's just, I mean, you can't bring your king to the middle of the board surrounded by pieces and expect good things to happen, right? King, he wants to hide in the corner. Gate e1, okay. Knight c4, this is fine. Yeah, and okay, you're not terrible here anymore. He didn't find the and actually you have some nice threats here. Now it's defended by the knight as of right now, but you might have some opportunities. You can't go rook c8, unfortunately. Knight e8, I'm not really this move makes no sense. I want to try to find something here that's a little more palatable, though. I wonder if just moving back is the best option and just getting your king, undoing that terrible mistake, that was bringing out your king. I think this might be the best option for you here. Right, and okay, he does find this eventually, and from here, okay, so Dasha finds her own fork. That's cool. Yeah, but he's a little too quick for her. And the issue is you didn't get the knight back, so you got no material for your rook. Although what the okay, sure, man. Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, I don't know if you want to take necessarily with the king here. I think maybe better is taking with the knight because your knight was back row doing nothing. So get your knight in the game. He can't actually check you, right? So he can't check you here because the knight protects it. And he can't check you here because he'll just take his rook. Or yeah, I mean, or you could even just come down here. It doesn't really matter. He can hurt you there. Other moves, I mean, you could do that. I don't know. I mean, oh, you could just also take the rook, I suppose. It's probably actually stronger because you just get the material back. It's actually the best move. I don't know why it took me so long to see that one, but oh, sorry about that. I had an alarm on. Yeah. So here, let's say, I mean, this knight is trapped. This bishop is trapped. You can't check your way out of it because I'll just take your bishop, and now Dasha should be once again winning. Rook X. Okay. This comes with a bit of an issue here. Like we said, when you're materially up, it benefits you to trade. Something like this might work, and your issue is, okay, well, I can take the rook, right? But I lost the rook for it, and I can take the bishop, right? But I lost the knight for it. And now the problem is just a math. It's like a math equation, right? The rook is better than the knight, and you don't have any other pieces that compensate for it. So pawns are even. He's going to crush you with this in the end game. Rook c5. What the? That's a terrible move. And actually, you're back. You're back here, Dasha, but you mess it up. You go for the pawn. You got to remember why you played knight here in the first place, right? We came here to party. Let's not forget what we're doing. And boom, we take a rook. You can't take back because then I get two. That's a pretty good deal. Like this. Could do something like this, and I think in that case, that's actually tough. I guess I keep the two knights. Yeah, I guess you gotta keep the two knights and go two knights versus the rook. This is a kind of a drag of an endgame here. It might be a bit outside of your skill set, but still, certainly even. All right, another check. Okay, this one's no good, Dash. We gotta get a a radar for your pieces here. They gotta spot the things a little bit better. All right, rook d2. All right. There's no way I'm analyzing 4 games of it. This is already a half an hour long. Nobody wants to watch this. I doubt anybody is still watching this. But all right. Let's go with here. Apparently, yeah, you're kind of even here. You might be able to shove these pawns, and you might be able to, get something done with them. Trading's not the move. But now, okay, no, now you're totally fine. So what you want to do in this situation is you want to think. He's never going to checkmate you with just a king and a rook if you've got a knight hanging around. Your target should be this pawn, like 100%. Immediately go to this pawn. Immediately block it off, take it with the knight, and now you have an absolute draw. If not a win, because you've got all these pawns. This is actually a pretty hard draw for white to prove in some respects because you have 2 pawns on both sides of the board. Let's say he brings his king up and you do something like this, and maybe he, I don't know, like, yeah, I mean already, right? Like you could go here certainly, and yeah, you're gonna win like a pawn, and you'll probably get this pawn in the end, but there's no world where white's winning. He's actually the one thing for a draw. You just push for promotion in this state. Now we're not gonna get into crazy endgame shit because that's a little too complex for what I'm trying to do here, and I don't feel like doing that. Technically, it's my day off. Rook g4, g6, sure. Okay, here apparently you just have win. Though it's a bit tricky to see. maybe it. Oh, yeah, no, it's not. It's not tricky at all. You just take the pawn. Okay, we just missed another one. Just grab some material. Yeah, okay. Now here you've gone and blundered your knight away. And now, easy pickings for him and worth resigning. Okay, so a couple things, a couple notes you can take, right, from this specific game. I might do one more. I don't know how long people really want this video to be. I'll take one look at her as white, just her opening. I'm not gonna go through the whole game, but let's talk principles for a second. One, when you start a game, you want to control the center, get your pieces off their ass, and get castled. If you play a move that does not advance any of those goals, you played a bad move. Also, let's not move our f1. Let's just keep that as a rule for now. If you take lessons with me, I'll show you some exceptions to all these rules, but just keep that as a principle in your back pocket. Otherwise, right, there's actually, one thing I'd say is you need more time, right? You're down on the clock here already. I think a 30-minute game would benefit her greatly. I think longer is almost always better. If you want to go fast, you got to go slow first. Other than that, there was some really good stuff in there. Like, she clearly knows how to develop her pieces correctly. It doesn't feel like entirely random. So there's there's some issues certainly, but it's not like this. It's not like a chaotic nightmare that's unworkable. Like there are some issues, but I think if you slow down, gave yourself some more time for your moves. And like I said, one of your critical moments here, you spent 9 seconds on. It's like I don't know if so. I mean, there are some moves in here that it took me 5-10 seconds to find. It's like what are you like? Don't it's easy to probably get discouraged too that way. Like you'd be thinking, oh, chess geniuses are so good, and I'm not gonna be, it's like no, you just have to take your time. It's hard. It's a hard game. So I would say slow down, play for those opening principles. You're gonna be just fine, or Dasha's gonna be just fine. Whoever's watching this, I don't know. Let's look at one more. Let's just see how we play as white here. And turn these off real quick and just see what's going on. So she plays e4, big open game player. That's cool. Respect. d4. Wow. Here we go. I've never seen this in my life. I don't know what the hell this is. This is crazy. Just giving up the pawn, and she's like, I'm fucking going for it. I don't care. That's some balls to the wall chess right there. Yeah. I wonder if not bishop to g5 here. Is this a move? I guess not. I guess f6 is fine. The computer hates you. What's the line here? Just oh yeah, I guess just cast. Oh, it's just this is now a Scotch gambit. Is it really? It melts into a Scotch. I guess that's what that is. Yeah, I don't I don't typically play d for this early, but okay. Yeah, no, this is fine. You got some big ideas of sacking here at some point. Like, can I do that now? Question mark. I don't want to. I don't know if it works. Right there, okay, I guess. Problem is this bishop is on pre, so you got to move it. If I take here, this feels insane. Yeah, that's too crazy, right? Like, this just doesn't work. Yeah, no, because you get g6 after I move here. So that's not going to work. I got a little too excited. Sorry, guys. Go bishop b3. Just get out of the way. She actually is in not such an unpleasant position here. Now, if you're going to play this, you should really know some ideas. Yeah, taking with the queen is probably not my favorite, probably my least favorite move in this position because you give tempo away when the knight hits you. I think maybe better. Honestly, if I'm going to play like this, I'm probably going to play c3. And then I'm going to play something like this. And I'll try and like get all my pieces pointed. Sacrifice 2 pawns, get all my pieces pointing at his king, and see if I can't make something happen. I don't really play this though. Bishop c4 though, and all this fine. Just yeah, right. So already we're basically losing here. I think the problem is she actually spent some time on this move, but it's also an insane move because not only are you leaving the piece on pre, you're moving into another piece attacking you. This is Yeah, this is chaotic. Um, so this is a pretty bad game, and I'm not sure. There's possibly she's tilting. Maybe she's maybe you play under the influence. Um, Whatever. That's a bit of advice I can give you. Make a second account for when you're drunk, because sometimes I like to play when I'm drunk, but I shouldn't play serious games when I'm drunk because that is how you lose in the Philadelphia Open. Margarita lunches between rounds. Terrible idea. Um, so yeah, I mean this one's a bit sloppy. So what I'd say is final assessment is Dasha is someone who has a few principles known and a few that she doesn't necessarily know. But it is not. It's not like it's not uninformed chess. I guess is what I'd say. It's just not particularly strong yet. So it depends on depends on if you want to pursue it. You can be as good as you want to be, but yeah, first you got to be able to see moves like. So I would suggest I'll drop a link to a lead chess study or two in in the comment section on this video, so that you know anyone who watched this can take a peek and try a few of those that might help out. Specifically, they'll be for Dasha's games because they're the ones I went over, but any chess player who's kind of aspiring and trying to be a little bit better could use them. So yeah, that was a 36 and a half minutes. That's long as shit. I'm gonna get off now. You guys have a good one, and yeah, Dasha, DM me for chess lessons.